Hi there, Anke Herman back again for another video. Today I want to talk about a question that comes up quite a lot when we talk about starting our own business or growing a business, and not just a sewing business really. And the question is, how can I be more focused? And as usual, I want to answer by questioning the question to start with, because I think the answer is really why. The answer really lies in the question: is why? Why do we want to become more focused? What's the big deal? Because if it seems to me that the objective of becoming more focused is to get somewhere quicker. And so if we take the example of a sewing business, I want to be more focused so that by the end of the year I reach whatever goal. And I'm wondering whether faster is really what we should be aiming at. Wouldn't we want to aim for better rather than faster? What's the advantage of being faster? Because that sounds as if once I have made that many sales, once I've got this or that, then I'll be happy, then I don't have to worry. And I claim that things just don't work that way. So getting somewhere quicker, I don't think there's much of a point to it. And so if the idea was to create or come up with the best possible solution, then focus may not what actually helps us get there. I mean, I understand that, like if you sort of pot around and drift around, you sort of don't move towards a particular goal. But the thing is, focus, I don't think is something that you can start with. I think focus is something that comes from having clarity and knowing where I want to go and how I'm going to get there. But that clarity doesn't come from sitting at a desk and a drawing board and thinking up a solution. That clarity comes from pottering around, trying things, experimenting, doing something and failing with it. And so exactly that scattered mind that we think we need to overcome at all costs, I think that really is what allows us to come up with great solutions. Because I think in order to create, and whether that's a business or whether that's a garment or whether that's, well, I remember being a software developer. Software isn't created that way either. So whatever it is you want to create, for us to come up with a really great solution, something innovative, something worth pursuing, we need new ideas. If we just work with what we've already got, what we already know, what we've already done a million times, then that's what we're going to get. We stay basically where we already are. In order to move somewhere else, we need fresh new thought, and fresh new thought comes from experimenting, from what about this and what about that, and getting lost in exploring something, and what about something totally different, comes from disconnecting, comes from going on a holiday and not thinking about work at all. So I think the scattered mind is really a really necessary part of the creative process. And I don't know about you, and I'd love to hear in the comments if that's something that you can relate with, because I used to beat myself up quite a lot for procrastinating. And like take a software development project I'd work on. So there's a 6-month project and I'd spent, like, after 3 months, I still hadn't written a line of code. I'd still be pottering around, and I'd kind of, well, what database platform could you use? Well, this, and oh, there's a new programming language, let's check that out. And I'd be like, and I'm like, oh shit, I should be really getting on with things. But then somehow I'd get distracted again and potter around here and try out there. Until one day I wake up in the morning and say, oh, the picture's clear in my head now. And now I can go and do. And now I no longer need any books, any this, any that. And focus then is effortless. Once that clarity is there, focus is effortless. Then it's just a matter of getting on with it and doing it. And I find I have go through the same process when I have a sewing project that involves a technique or something, or, you know, some cut that I've not done before and I really don't know how. And I used to beat myself up over not getting started with it, and I don't know how to do it, and I would just leave it there, and I couldn't get, and you know, and then it would pop into my mind, and then all of a sudden I'd find myself watching a YouTube video and about this and what about that, and slowly the solution would sort of form itself in my mind. And one day I'd be waking up saying, oh, I've got the idea. I know. Hi there. I know now how. I've got an idea. I can try this, and then I know, and then that idea, that fresh new thought that was missing in the picture, that comes up, and then I know, and then I've got clarity. I've got the clarity to know what I want and how I'm going to do it, and then focus is effortless, and then I just can get up, get on, and do it like really quickly. And so I'm suggesting, instead of searching for focus, how about slowing down, taking a step back and enjoying the creative process, the pottering around, the exploring, the not knowing, the give ourselves space for that new idea that we need to really truly create something new, for that to come in. While we're in pitbull mode, that isn't really happening. And the thing is, what makes whatever we try and create, what makes it special is that new idea, is that hasn't been there before. And you can't, something that jumps to my mind often in the comparison when I think about that topic is in Spain, when you go to a haberdashery shop, they're not like I know from Germany, Australia, the UK, where they're like supermarket style shops where there's aisles, and then you walk in with your scrap, your samples of fabric, and I'm looking for something like to put on the shoulder pad to create some sort of torero style jacket, and I'm kind of wandering around, and I wonder this and that, and all of a sudden I see something, wow, look at that tassel thing, that'd be perfect. And I don't care that it's in the curtain department, that, you know, that wasn't designed for this, but and I couldn't possibly ask for that, because I don't know it exists. I didn't even know that sort of tassel even existed. So I can't ask for it. So for me to have the space and the time to wander around the aisles, to let my mind drift off, to see what's this and what about that, and then all of a sudden, what if I did? And that's how stuff gets created. And yes, thank you. Exactly, when I sleep on it, I so agree. That's exactly what happens to me too. And I think it's every time we take our mind off it, when we let go of the pitbull mode, I need to solve this now, that's when stuff comes in, and they are these ideas that we need to really create something. So I found when I came to Spain and learned that haberdashery shops don't work that way, that there's actually, you always come in and then there's a counter and you have to ask for what you want. And I find that always really, really limiting, because it keeps me in the same, you know, pot. You know, I keep stirring the same ingredients in the same pot, because I can only ask for what I already know exists. And if I don't know that something exists, I can't ask for it, so I'm never gonna get it. And so if I then try and ask more open questions and say, well, I just need some embellishment for the edge of the ruffles, then I depend on the creativity and the mood of the person behind the counter, whether they are up for a bit of creativity and exploring and say, well, what about this and what about that? Or if they just say, no, we don't have that, which is happening more often than the other way. But so that's what really makes that And in the end, isn't that what's the fun part about the creative process? The bit of not knowing, the bit of trying out things. And funny, when it comes to building our business, we tend to forget about all of that and really get sucked into the whole goal setting. I need to get this goal achieved by whatever date, otherwise I'm not good enough, and whatever other thinking comes behind that. So what I'm suggesting is to, as usual, take the foot off the gas and apply the same approach that, if you're watching this, probably used to from your creative process when you create a garment or whatever it is you're creating. Take that same approach to growing your business. There is no rush. You know, getting somewhere faster doesn't mean it's better. And a scattered mind, meaning an unfocused mind, I think is not just a necessary evil, it's even necessary to come up with a really new solution to an old problem. So we don't want to, I don't know, I think it's no fun to just stir around and repeat the same thing. To really come up with something brilliant requires that part of, and there's no rule for how long that should take. So I'm suggesting, what if you were just kind to yourself and just enjoy the ride of not knowing, and enjoy the ride of not having focus yet, and think of it as yet. You know, the more you explore, the more you try out stuff, your mind processes all of that. And then when the moment comes, when something's like, oh, when the idea hits, that's when you gain clarity, and then, yeah, and then you just go do it. And you'll find that then focus doesn't require effort. It doesn't require discipline. It just what makes sense in that moment. And then you just go ahead and cruise. And if you allow yourself that time, I've found time and time again, whether it's software, whether it's dresses, whether it's business, whether it's marketing, like anything, every time I allow myself that time to be unfocused, when I actually in the end turn back, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve way faster than I could have in pitbull mode, and as usual, way more fun in the process too. So yeah, hope this was helpful, and let me know what's your experience. Yeah, with this sleep on it, I definitely agree with that. I actually noticed that. Funny, it reminds me of a moment when I was working in a bank, the software project, and I was sitting there in the afternoon, late afternoon, trying solve some code problem I had, and I just banged my head against the wall, and I just couldn't get. But I had this thing, I for some reason felt I wanted to finish this piece of code before I went home in the evening, and I kept pushing and I kept pushing, and this and that, and you know, with increasing frustration. And in the end, it was getting so late that you know, they were coming to close the office doors, and so they were basically kicking me out, and I was like, oh well, bugger it then. So go home, you know, frustrated, and, you know, felt I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. So I go to sleep, and I remember sort of that, you know, that split second before you sort of really wake up, it's like, oh, what if I, you know, I wake up in the morning and I was like, what about trying that? And I went into the office, 2 minutes of coding, and the problem was solved. And it really popped into my mind while I was sleeping. So that was really something that really hit home for me that moment. I was like, I've wasted like 3 hours after office hours sitting there banging my head against the wall, when just letting go of it allows new thought and ideas to come in. So yeah, and ever since I've used it way more consciously, and it's never failed me. It really has not ever failed me. It's never that I've ended up spinning around in la la land forever. You know, it's always led me to a point of an aha moment of like, oh, now I know, and now I can go do. You know, so it always works like that. And I'm suggesting that's not just me, that's how we all work. And so I suggest, if you're looking for focus, enjoy the time of not having it, because surely the focus then comes faster, and it's more fun in the process. So I hope that's helpful. Let me know what your experience is, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.